Good day, everyone. I am Ralph Malbas, and I am going to discuss the action learning, development planning, which some questions about being a good leader will be answered. Additionally, I will also explain coaching and its two types, which are informal and formal coaching. What is action learning? Action learning is an approach to leadership development that focuses on learning by doing rather than only learning through classroom instruction. Traditional training programs involve personnel taking leadership classes during work hours. Such training addresses common leadership issues, but its artificial nature makes it difficult to transfer concepts to actual work situations. Traditional training programs are conventional leadership development that often happens in formal classroom environments, where employees step away from their jobs to learn theoretical concepts about leadership. Although classroom training can teach general leadership principles, its artificial nature meaning is detached from real-world work contexts that makes it harder for participants to apply what they learn in practical to their everyday situations. Action learning refers to the use of actual work issues and challenges as the development activity itself. Work on the philosophy that best learning involves learning by doing, conducted in teams of colleagues who are addressing real company challenges. Action learning po is grounded in the principle that individuals develop leadership skills most effectively when actively engaged in solving real problems rather than passively receiving information. It is typically carried out in small teams of colleagues who collaborate to analyze and resolve actual company challenges. This process not only develops leadership skills but also provides tangible solutions for the organization. Yun nga po, halimbawa is nito ay yung pagtitipon ng mga empleyado upang talakayin yung mga kaganapan sa kanilang management. Pinag-uusapan nila yung mga problemang kailangan ng solusyon. Dito rin ay sometimes nagbabahagi sila ng mga karanasan nila upang malaman kung ano yung mga kailangan nilang baguhin do sa environment nila. In the next slide, some questions about development planning will be answered. What is development planning? Development planning is a strategic process of setting measurable goals and creating a detailed roadmap to achieve them within a specific time frame. It also involves po yung analyzing the current situation, yung prioritizing the objectives, and developing strategies para bigyan ng solusyon yung problema kinakaharap. Then, to make enduring behavioral changes, leaders must provide positive answer to the following 5 questions. The first question is, do leaders know which of their behaviors need to change? Leaders must have a self-awareness about which behaviors are ineffective or need improvement. So, as a leader po, dapat alam natin na kung ano yung kailangan natin baguhin upang mas mapaunlad po yung environment natin at para lumago po ito. The second question is the leader motivated to change these behaviors? Change requires personal commitment kasi kung hindi papahalaga ng isang leader ang pagbabago, mabibigay ito sa pagkamit ng improvement na hinahangad niya para sa kanyang pinamumunuan. Third question is, do leaders have plans in place for changing targeted behaviors? Effective development involves specific, actionable plans rather than vague intentions. Kailangan po hindi malabo and kailangan is magmalinaw lahat ng kilos ng isang leader kaya kinakailangan niyang pagplanuhan ito ang mga hakbang na gagawin niya ng maayos. Next naman is, do leaders have opportunities to practice new skills? Leaders need environments po na kung saan makakakuha sila ng bagong experiences at mga aral upang mas mapalawak nila ang kaalaman nila. Nang sa ganun, ma-adapt din nila ito sa pag-improve nung pinamumunuan nila. Last question is, Are leaders held accountable for changing targeted behaviors? Accountability is essential, of course. Regular follow-ups, coaching sessions, or performance evaluations ensures leaders stay on track and remain committed to their development goals. We all know that all leaders is always accountable. Alam naman natin yan sa bawat galaw nila. Kaya upang maiwasan yung mga kaguluhan at pagkakamali, the leaders should be the role model and adopt new knowledge kung paano may improve yung mga pagkukulang dun sa management na pinamumunuan niya. Moving on to the next slide. Good development plans are constantly being revised as new skills are learned or new opportunities to develop skills become available. This means naman po that an effective development plan is not static. It is dynamic. Ibig sabihin, it's ongoing process po. Tuloy-tuloy, nagbabago. As a leaders acquire new competencies or encounter fresh opportunities, dapat nag-i-improve din po yung mga plano upang mas mapalawak pa ang vision ng isang samahan at mas mapaunlad pa ang management nila. Siyempre, over time, hindi naman pwedeng nagre-rely lang tayo sa same thing. Siyempre, as time goes by, nag-i-improve yung mga bagay sa paligid natin, kailangan i-adapt natin yung mga nangyayari. Kaya, nagbabago rin yung mga kailangan nating gawin or ibigay natin as a team sa mga nangangailangan nung service, ganon, anything that we can provide in order to make our management na mas malawak pa. Yan. So, development planning provides a methodology for leaders to improve their behavior even as they go about their daily work activities. So, dito naman po, leaders improve their behaviors while performing their real responsibilities, applying new skills on the job, and learning through practical experience. This approach po makes development more sustainable and effective as it combines theory with real-world application. Let's proceed to the next slide. We will be discussing the two types of coaching. Next naman po is the coaching. So what is coaching? We all know naman that coaching is being able to mentor someone or some team to acquire new skills or knowledge. Then, coaching is a key leadership skill that can help leaders improve the bench strength of the group, which in turn should help the group accomplish its goals. It can also help retain high-quality followers. Process of equipping people with the tools, knowledge, and opportunities they need to develop and become more successful. So, coaching is a management approach in which a leader takes on the role of a coach, emphasizing the growth of team members' abilities, understanding, and potential through constructive criticism, active listening, and mentoring. So, there are two types of coaching po. The first one is informal coaching. Informal coaching takes place whenever a leader helps the students or teams to change their behaviors. So, ito naman po is type of coaching happens naturally during day-to-day interactions between leaders and their team members. It occurs when a leader provides guidance, advice, or feedback to help followers improve their skills or modify their behaviors. The next type naman po is the formal coaching programs or formal coaching. It is designed for the specific needs and goals of individual, executives, and managers in leadership positions. So, formal coaching po is a systematic type of coaching. Dito po, may mga goal tayo na kailangan nating i-achieve. These programs are structured and tailored to meet the specific needs of executives and managers in leadership roles. Formal coaching is goal-oriented. Yun nga po, yung kailangan natin may ma-achieve na something and systematic po yung type na to ng coaching which is formal. Focusing on areas such as improving communication, developing strategic thinking, or preparing for higher leadership positions. Sessions often include assessment tools, personal development plans, and regular progress reviews.
With explanations provided, we will now take a deeper look into the concepts of informal and formal coaching. Good day, I'm Marcos Del Mundo, and in this part of the presentation, we will explore how each approach works, their unique features, and the impact they create within organizations. Peterson and Hicks highlighted 5 steps in informal coaching. First of all is forging a partnership. It means to build a mutual trust so both coaches and followers feel safe and open. The second is inspiring commitment, inspiring the follower in getting motivated and connected to a clear goal. Third is growing skills. This focuses on developing the right abilities through feedback and practice. Fourth, promoting persistence. This is where coaches encourages consistency despite setbacks. And finally, shaping the environment, creating conditions that support success. Informal coaching helps us diagnose why behavior change isn't happening and how to fix it. It can happen anywhere in the organization and works for both high and low performers. However, it becomes more challenging when done remotely or across different cultures. A great example, if in a school setting, given a student is nervous about public speaking, after class, the teacher casually tells the student, your points were strong, but next time, try slowing down a bit so the audience can follow better. It's short, unplanned feedback, but it boosts confidence. Formal coaching, on the other hand, is structured one-on-one relationship between a coach and a manager. It usually lasts 6 months to over a year, and it begins with an assessment of the manager's development needs, followed by regular meetings to review feedback results. Moving forward, another feature of formal coaching is that it uses tools like role plays and video recordings, with coaches providing immediate feedback. The outcomes include clarifying a manager's values, identifying gaps between their stated values and actual behaviors, and developing strategies to align those behaviors with their values. And lastly, we should take note that these programs can be expensive, sometimes exceeding over $100,000. But research shows that coaching can often be more effective at changing behavior compared to traditional learning or training approaches. A great example for this in a school setting is when a university assigns a mentor or a coach to a student leader. Over the academic year, the mentor meets with the student monthly, reviewing performance in leadership activities, giving structured feedback, and guiding them with strategies to align their values with their actions as a role model.
Good day, everyone. My name is Lawrence Santamaria Jr., and I will be covering mentoring and building one's own leadership self-image. Now, let's move on. So, first, what is mentoring? A personal relationship in which a more experienced person acts as a guide, role model, and a sponsor of a less experienced prodigy. A mentor is an experienced person willing to take an individual under his or her wing, usually someone 2 or 4 levels higher in an organization, provides prodigies with knowledge, advice, challenge, counsel, and support about career opportunities, organizational strategy, and policy and office politics. So mentoring is when an experienced person helps guide and support someone who is less experienced. Yung person na yun is willing to take them under his or her wing. Ibig sabihin nun is may paki sila and they care about the other person's growth and gusto nilang tulungan sila for them to learn, improve, and succeed. Yung purpose ng mentor is nagbibigay ng advice, but mentoring is more than just giving advice. It's about building a relationship where the mentor shares knowledge, gives feedback, listens, and helps the person set goals and reach them. A mentor may also help the person para mag-build ng confidence, make good decisions, and sometimes even connect with helpful people na pwedeng magbigay ng daan sa kanila para sa mas maraming opportunities. Mentoring can happen in many settings, like at work, in school, or in life in general. It's a powerful way to learn from someone who has already walked the path you're starting on. Now let's move on to why mentoring is different from coaching. First, it may not target specific development needs. Mentoring is more about overall growth, like learning how to be a better leader, making smart, career choices, or growing as a person. It doesn't always focus on a specific skill or task. On the other hand, coaching usually focuses on a specific need or goal. Next, guidance is provided by someone several leadership levels higher in the organization and not the immediate supervisor. Madalas kasi yung mentor is someone na much more experienced and in a higher position. Andun sila para lang i-guide ka, not typically doing the work for you. This gives a broader view of your career or path and could be a big factor on what you're choosing or what's more suitable for you. On the other hand, a coach can someone be your manager or someone closer to your level. They're more focused on helping you improve at your current job or reach a short-term goal, compared naman sa coaching na it's more for the long-term goals in life. Then lastly, mentor may not even be part of the organization. A mentor doesn't have to work in the same company. They could be someone from outside who has experience and is willing to help. This is helpful because they can offer a different point of view. However naman, a coach is usually part of the organization or hired by it. Their role is more formal and often part of a structured plan to help employees improve in certain areas. So, to summarize, mentoring is more personal, long-term, and broad. It's about growth, not just fixing problems. Then yung coaching naman is more focused and short-term, usually to improve performance in a specific area. Then next, there are two types of mentoring, which is informal and formal. First, let's cover informal mentoring. It occurs when a prodigy and mentor builds a long-term relationship based on friendship, similar interests, and mutual respect. Informal mentoring happens naturally, without being planned by a company or a program. A more experienced person, which is the mentor, and a less experienced person, which is the prodigy or mentee, connect because they get along well, share similar interests, and respect each other. Over time, they build a strong, friendly relationship where learning and support happen in a relaxed and personal way. Informal mentoring naman, the organization assigns a relatively inexperienced but high potential leader to be a top executive in the company. So informal mentoring, the company sets up the mentoring program on purpose. They choose a newer employee who seems promising for them, usually someone with good potential to grow and pair them with a senior leader in the company. The goal is to help the younger employee learn, grow, and become a future leader. This setup is more structured and often follows a plan or schedule. Informal mentoring may be more effective than formal mentoring as it creates a stronger emotional bond and can last a lifetime. Now let's move on. Building one's own leadership self-image. Not everyone wants to be a leader or believes he or she can be. Many people are selling themselves short kasi nga ang tingin nila is hindi talaga sila fit to be a leader or hindi nila ma-handle. People who want to avoid the responsibilities of leadership should keep an open mind about the importance and pervasiveness of leadership. If someone doesn't want to be a leader or take on leadership roles, that's okay. But they should still understand how important leadership is and how often it shows up in life. In other words, even if you don't want to be a leader, try to stay open to the idea that leadership matters and is all around us, either at school, work, families, and in our community. This statement means that you don't have to be a leader, but don't ignore the how valuable leadership is.
To summarize everything na discuss natin tungkol sa what leadership development is, one way na pwedeng mag-add value as a leader is by applying the action observation reflection model. Bakit nga ba? Kasi it allows us to learn directly from our own experiences. Kaya kung gusto mong mag-grow as a leader, dapat marunong ka rin mag-seek ng challenges at i-maximize lahat ng leadership opportunities na makukuha mo. Pero syempre, experience alone is not always enough. Dapat marunong tayo mag-adjust and look for better opportunities in regards to kung may problema ba. Mas magiging successful ang behavior change kapag meron tayong proper support ng sistema or yung mga processes tulad ng planning, coaching, and mentoring programs. Ito yung mga nagbibigay sa atin ng guide para masigurado na yung natututunan natin ay makikita sa ugali at the same time nagkakaroon din ng improvements. Kumbaga hindi lang natuto ako kundi nabago rin yung way of leading ko. Naging mas okay siya. Bukod pa dun, leaders themselves can also help in the growth of others, in the growth of their employees, in the growth of the one who follows them. Pero paano? By being coaches and mentors to their followers. In this way, natutulungan nating bigyan ng solution yung challenges at ma-develop yung skills ng mga tauhan natin or mga employees, followers na kailangan maging effective. Kailangan kasi maging effective din sila. So, para siyang passing of the torch. Hindi lang ikaw yung nagli-lead, tinutulungan mo rin yung iba para maging leader someday.
And that's it. Thank you so much for listening to our reporting of the topic leader development. We hope that you learned a lot of what it means to be a leader and how to develop leadership. So before we proceed with our games, we want to leave you with this quote by Jack Welch to remind you that leaders are made and not born. Thank you so much.